Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard, Cisneros, at your service. Today I will be reading the October 17th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. Reevaluating the idea of having a bad day. Bad days are a precious gift you offer yourself. Many times the primary way to truly see and realize what is keeping you from the peace of mind and joy you desire is to experience the thoughts, actions, and reactions you're supporting that are not supporting you. When such thoughts, actions, reactions occur, the ego has you define such a day as bad. Yet can obtaining clarity in what is separating you from the life you desire, can that truly be bad? If what the ego defines and programs us to perceive as bad is actually assisting us in becoming who we desire to be, is that bad, or is that a gift we are offering ourselves? Should we be judging or blaming ourselves and others for creating or being part of such days? Or should we be offering gratitude to ourselves and others for having the courage to walk through the darkness in order to better understand our light? Next time the ego insists we are having a bad day, instead let us remember the true gift that it is, and from deep within our hearts, offer love and gratitude to all who are being part of a process that is helping us realize and define the life we truly desire. The ego has taught us to believe in the idea of bad days. The idea of bad days is simply an illusion. It's not real. Now we have been programmed to believe it's real, and so we see it as real. But let us first remind ourselves who we truly are. We are the extensions of love itself. We are love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, joy, and peace. And therefore that is all we can truly experience. That is all that is truly real. And so you have been taught to believe, or we have been taught to believe, that this is not real, this is. And this is the opposite of love, or the opposites of the expressions of love, such as anger, regret, revenge, judgment, jealousy. Whatever negative emotions we have been taught to believe is real, it's an illusion. But when those illusions occur during our day, when those thoughts, words, actions, reactions, ideas that support the illusion occur during our days, then we perceive that day to be bad. And so this illusion that we're believing is within this day, and so we're believing the illusion as real. We're not seeing the day as it truly is. And that's why we define the day as bad, because we're, in our minds, confused as to why we're experiencing this, because this is really not part of our true nature. And we, deep down inside, know we deserve to experience our true nature. And so when we're not experiencing our true nature, then we're believing in the illusion, and believing in the illusion of a bad day. And so let's take some examples. How can we have a bad day? According to the ego, either things might not be going the way we think they should, or people might not be acting the way they should towards us and others, or we might not be just feeling quite right. And so those are three things. Now let us take one by one. First, the day is not happening the way we thought it should. Okay. In the ego's versions of things, the ego has a specific plan for our lives. And that life is energized by the illusions of the ego. And so if something does not happen exactly as the ego plans, then it says that it is a bad day. If things are happening exactly like it planned, then it's a good day, according to the ego. But the ego's idea of reality is so limited that there's so many other things that can go apart from its way of thinking, that a lot of bad days or bad times during those days seem to happen. Now, in reality, if we trusted in God's source, if we truly trusted in God's source, then we would understand that every journey is sacred. And therefore, we wouldn't judge our brothers and sisters' journeys, and we would not judge our own journeys. And it would not matter how the day actually painted itself or how we were taught to see the day. Deep down inside, we would know that above everything, we trust in God's source, in God's source's plan for our life. Because God's source's plan for our life is our highest will for our life. And once we accept it as real and believe that, then whatever the day looks like, we know inside of us it's perfect for us. That it is being set up exactly like we need it to be set up, so that we can learn and grow from it and reach a higher level of consciousness. And so in that essence, when you're aligned with the truth in you, it is impossible to have a bad day, because whichever way the day looks is perfect for you. Second example, people are not acting the way you believe they should. Again, as we mentioned in point number 1, each individual journey is sacred. And so your brothers and sisters' journey is perfect for them. If we're perceiving the world through our truth and aligning with God's source, we respect our brothers and sisters' journeys, whichever way they manifest. And when they might be buying into their illusion and judging us through their illusion, we know that their illusion is not real, and so they cannot really judge us. And we know that there's only love, and then there's a call for love and a call for healing. And so whenever they're judging us through their illusions, they're simply asking for help, for healing. And so when we are aligned with our truth, then we simply see their quote-unquote, what the ego would say, judgments of us, as simply asking for help and healing. And so when we are aligned with our truth, we offer them help and healing. Help and healing is the only sane solution to somebody who's asking for help and healing. Judgment and condemnation would be the ego's illusionary solutions to somebody judging you and condemning you. But where does that ever leave you? It doesn't leave you in the state of joy or peace, which is where you truly belong, because you are the expression of joy and peace. But if you're not left in the state of joy and peace, then obviously we're buying into something that we believe is more real than what is real, if you know what I mean. Third, we are simply not feeling right during the day. Now, why is that? Why are we feeling conflicted, confused, chaotic? Well, simply because we're not expressing our true nature. We're not expressing our truth out. We simply have bought into the illusion and then expressing this illusion to the world. And so when we're expressing the illusion that we're anger, resentment, jealousy, condemnation, judgment, hate, what have you, when you let that flow through you, obviously you're not going to have peace within you. And so what you want to do is decide, make the conscious choice to stop. Remember that the only way you can really be buying into the illusion is because this illusion has been taught to us in the past, and we have brought it into the present. And therefore we're not really experiencing the present, because we're simply experiencing the past over the present. And thus we're confused as to what's going on, because we're not really seeing the present moment when we're expressing ourselves through our illusions. But when we choose to stop and choose peace, choose to realign with our true nature, then we come back to ourselves, to our truth, to love, peace, kindness, compassion, and then start acting through that. We start expressing ourselves through that and offering that to the world. And so when you offer peace, love, compassion, kindness, joy, generosity, then you feel those flowing through you, and all of a sudden your mood changes, because now you're expressing who you truly are instead of the illusion of who you are. And so what once was chaos and confusion now becomes peace and clarity. And so that's the choice we have in every moment. And so those are sort of a few ways that the ego has taught us to perceive bad days, or days as bad, when they're not. They're simply, in truth, they're gifting us a great opportunity. And this great opportunity is that they're teaching us what illusions we're still buying into as real. When we take close mental note of why we're feeling bad during the day, is it our thoughts? Is it our words? Is it our actions or reactions? Is it our ideas? What of these are we believing the illusion of ourselves as real more than our truth? And so when we can actually see it in the physical form, we get to note, oh, I'm being angry here. Instead of offering compassion, I'm offering condemnation. Okay, I want to correct that, because I know I'm not condemnation. So then you correct it within your mind. You say, well, I'm going to be more patient next time I get into this type of situation, or I'm going to be a little more kinder, or a little more gentler, or loving, or more self-loving. And so this illusionary bad day that you're experiencing is actually showing you the illusions that you still believe as real. And once you get tired enough of those illusions, you will start to question them. But it was only because you got to experience them, it was only because you got to experience enough bad days that you then chose to look for another way, a more loving and self-loving way of experiencing the present moment and experiencing your true self. And so now, if we're learning what illusions we're still buying into as real, is that not a gift we're really offering ourselves? Are we not offering ourselves the opportunity to realign with our true nature? The opportunity to experience more peace, compassion, joy, forgiveness, kindness? And aren't those quote-unquote bad days actually helping us achieve this higher level of consciousness? And if so, are these quote-unquote bad days really bad days? Or are they great learning opportunities that we're offering ourselves? And then, obviously, if they're great learning opportunities, and they're actually gifts that we're presenting ourselves, then obviously there cannot be such a thing as a bad day. It's impossible. It's impossible because you're learning what you do not want. And by the more you learn what you do not want, the more you remember what you do want to become and who you truly are. And that is a function, or partly a function, of those bad days. And so now we see that those bad days are simply gifts we're offering ourselves to reach a higher level of consciousness. And when we realize that, then we realize, hey, there's no such thing as bad days. Yes, I've been taught to believe there's such things as bad days, but you know what? That was an illusion that was taught to me. That's real. That's not real. I mean, now I see that it's not real. Now I see that there's no such thing as bad days. Now I see that when I trust in God's source, which is my highest self, I trust that everything is happening for my growth and development. I trust that every single journey is sacred. I have no need for judgment anymore, because why would I need judgment when I know that everybody's going through their own sacred journey in the best way they know how with the tools they currently have available to them. And so all of a sudden, another one of the ego's illusions dissolves right before you. And illusions are all basically the same. They're not real. And once one illusion begins to dissolve, a domino effect begins. And you start to notice that even with yourself, you don't have to be angry. You can be angry as much as you want. You can combine into the illusion that you are anger. Sooner or later, you'll get tired of that illusion, and you'll look for a better, more loving, self-loving way. And therefore, that quote-unquote anger was not really anger. It was a gift you were offering yourself. You were showing yourself which illusions you still believe is real. And therefore, was that anger really bad? Or evil? Or not spiritual? Or not good? No, it was simply a part of our lesson plan. A part of our lesson plan showing us that this illusion of anger is not really real. It's not really us. We do not want to align with that energy. And so we start to remember that we are not anger. We are love. We are compassion. We are kindness. We are forgiveness. That's who we truly are. And the more we align with our true selves, the more this idea, illusionary idea of anger, just like the illusionary idea of bad days, begins to dissolve. And so you see, there's no such thing, there's no need to judge yourself for your past or even your present. Well, in the present moment, it's impossible to judge yourself. But if you're bringing the past into the present, then you can judge yourself. You can believe that illusion is real if you're covering over the present moment, the truth. Then that's where judgment really happens. Because if you notice, if you were to remember that this is not real, just like a bad day is not real, anger is not real, self-judgment is not real, this begins to dissolve. And what's left? The present moment. The love that you truly are. And so everything the ego would have judged yourself for and have you judge others for, why would it do this? Simply because it wants you separate from those other beings. Because if you're separate from other beings, and if you're separate from God, then it's just you and the ego against the whole world. And the more you need the ego, the longer you need the ego, the longer the ego survives. Because it knows that if you do not need to defend yourself against all these scary illusions, then you don't need it. Then guess what? It begins to dissolve away, just like the bad days begin to dissolve away, just like your anger begins to dissolve away, just like your judgments begin to dissolve away, the ego begins to dissolve away. Why? Simply because you chose to align with the truth in you and to go through that process, the illusionary process of believing in bad days or what have you, and then chose to realign with the truth within you and not judge yourself for buying into these illusions. And so today, let us simply do that. Let us notice that when we're buying into the illusionary idea of bad days, it's not really a bad day, as we've discussed in this video already. Let us simply be grateful. Be grateful that we have the courage to go through such an illusion, to go through the tunnel of darkness, so to speak, so that we can reach the light. And then, by our courage to go through the illusion, through the darkness, and reaching the light, then, once we reach the light, we can light the way for many other people, simply by being our truest selves. We don't have to do anything but other than be who we truly are. The love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, generosity, self-love that we are. And so that bad day, that illusion, still helped us remember who we truly are, and therefore that bad day was never bad in the first place. Now we see it as simply a perfect part of our journey. We have no more need to judge it. We instead thank it. And we have no more need to judge our brothers and sisters. We instead thank them. We have no more need to judge ourselves. We instead thank ourselves for the courage we had. And now we are who we've always been created to be. The extensions of love itself. And that's who we are. And that's what such things as bad days teach us. They simply teach us who we truly are. They simply teach us that the illusions are not real. And so let us be grateful for that, and grateful for our brothers and sisters, and grateful for our own courage. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you would be so kind as to like, comment, or even share the video, it would help with the listening process, and it might help somebody find this video who can use the information. If you'd like to leave me a question or a comment, please do so. I would be delighted to try and offer a response. Finally, if you can please subscribe to my YouTube videos, I would love to have you in this community. Again, thank you for your time. I love you very much. And God willing, we will see each other tomorrow. Peace.